Hey, this is Joe Hubbard from JoeHubbardBassVideos.com, coming at you today with another bass lesson. And this is the fourth lesson in my functional diatonic harmony course. Today's lesson is on minor diatonic substitutions. So grab your bass and let's get started. The concept between chords that we had with the major diatonic substitutions is the same principle with the minor diatonic substitutions. So by applying the same substitution theory to the 2-5-1 in minor, we're going to arrive at the following diatonic substitutions. Firstly, let's take a look at the 2 minor 7 flat 5 chord. So if we're in A minor and we have 2 minor 7 flat 5, I've got the B minor 7 flat 5. If I then invert this chord in the first inversion, it's going to give me this. And that's going to be a D minor 6 chord. So this is the direct substitution for the 2 minor 7 flat 5. So again, I've got 2 minor 7 flat 5 or B minor 7 flat 5, and the diatonic substitute is the D minor 6. And the reason is that it's based on the inversion. Remember the last time when we did the major diatonic substitutions, there was 2 principles of substitution. That was the 3, 5, 7, and 9 theory and inversions. This falls under the category of inversions. Now there's a lot of people that get confused with this and think that it's actually the D minor 7th chord which is the diatonic substitute for the B minor 7 flat 5, but it isn't, because that D minor 7th chord, or the 4 minor 7th, is going to create a flat 9 interval over the B minor 7 flat 5, and we don't really want that. We want to have a tension 9 over that B minor 7 flat 5 that we'll talk about later. But the 4 minor 7th chord is actually an alternative choice, or really what we'd call a reharmonization of the 2 minor 7 flat 5, and that would be the D minor 7 or 4 minor 7, and then its diatonic substitute is going to be called flat 6 major 7, which goes on top of that. And the reason that occurs is because that's based on the 3, 5, 7, and 9 theory. Next chord that we want to take a look at is the 5, 7 flat 9. So if we're in A minor, we take E7 flat 9. And then if we look at the chord that we're going to substitute over this is going to be 7 diminished 7th. And this again is based on that 3, 5, 7, and 9 theory. So the root, the 3, the 5, and the 7 of the 7 diminished is the 3, 5, 7, and 9 of the E7 flat 9. So we have 5, 7 flat 9, and then the substitute is 7 diminished 7. The one chord in minor has a variety of possibilities because of the different 1 minor chords that are available from all 3 of the minor scales. So remember we said that we had the minor triad, but then those really kind of related to the minor major 7th chord and the minor 6th chord, and then we have the less common is the minor 7th. So really the 3 1 chords that we want to really take a look at is the minor major 7, the minor 6, and the minor 7th chord. If we take a look at the minor major 7th and we're in A minor, we've got A minor major 7. Okay, the first diatonic substitute off of that is going to be flat 3 major 7 sharp 5. And the reason is because the root, the 3, the 5, and the 7 from the flat 3 major 7 sharp 5 is a 3, 5, 7, and 9 of that 1 minor major 7th. Okay? If we then go to the minor 6 chord, we've got 6 minor 7 flat 5 is an inversion. Okay? So if we have A minor 6, okay, there's my chord there. And if I invert that by starting on the 6, that gives me an F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So we've got the A minor 6, and then I've got the F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Now, the way way that we're going to use this in these various permutations of progressions is we're going to use the 6 minor 7 flat 5 as a substitute for the 1 minor major 7 as well, because it's that same principle relating back to the major diatonic substitutes where we had the 1 major 7 and the 1 major 6 were interchangeable. Okay, so that meant that that 6 minor 7, if you remember, was the inversion of the 1 major 6, but we could then use that as a substitute over the 1 major 7, and that's done all the time. So now we have that same principle here where we're going to use the flat 3 major 7 sharp 5 and also the 6 minor 7 flat 5 as substitutes over the 1 minor major 7 chord. Okay, the last one is the minor 7th chord. This is less common, and a lot of times when you see a 1 minor 7th chord, that's used as pivoting back into a major key. Not all the time, but it's something to look out for when we get into this functional harmonic analysis that we're going to do. And so if I'm in A minor, I've got A minor 7, and then the diatonic sub is going to be the flat 3 major 7. So in the same 3, 5, 7, and 9 principle holds here. The 1, 3, 5, and 7 of the C major 7 is the 3, the 5, the 7, and 9 of the A minor 7. So I've got this principle here that I'm working off of. Okay, so what I want you to do is get these down, shed these. You need to really now kind of be looking that, you need to categorize these and understand what's going on with the 2 minor 7 flat 5, the 5 7, and then the various possibilities of the 1 chord and their diatonic substitutions. Just to clarify about the 4 minor 7th chord, it basically functions as an alternative reharmonization for the 2 minor 7 flat 5. It's not a direct substitute, but rather it's an alternative choice governed by the stylistic context of the music. For example, pop and rock would tend to use the 4 minor 7 more, whereas jazz would tend to use the 2 minor 7 flat 5. The conclusion here is that the 2 minor 7 flat 5, or the 4 minor 7, to 5 7 flat 9 to 1 minor progression is the basic definitive chord progression in a minor key area, while the remaining diatonic chords built from the notes of the minor scales, natural, harmonic, and melodic, are interchangeable substitution chords for the 2 minor 7 flat 5, the 4 minor 7, the 5 7 flat 9, and the 1 minor chords. In order to start internalizing all of the diatonic substitution chords in a minor key area, I want you to write out the minor substitution chart attached to this lesson in all of the minor keys. The following exercises will enable you to start hearing how to extend your melodic and harmonic vocabulary when playing over a set of simple chord changes in a minor key. Notice how the diatonic substitutions are being used, and make sure to learn and practice all the different permutations of this exercise in all keys. These are the variations available in the minor key for the 1 chord, and also the addition of the 4 minor 7th chord acting as a reharmonization for 2 minor 7 flat 5. We end up with 6 different progressions that we want to practice so we can internalize all of the diatonic substitutes in a minor key area. So what we start off with is a 2 minor 7 flat 5 to 5 7 flat 9, and then we're going to go to the 1 minor major 7th. And if we apply that with all the diatonic substitutes, then this is what we have. So we have B minor 7 flat 5, then I have D minor 6, then I have E 7 flat 9, and then I have the G sharp diminished, and then I have the 1 minor major 7 or A minor major 7, C major 7 sharp 5, and at the end I'm going to just play this minor triad broken arpeggio pattern. Okay, so all together this goes like this. to the 1 minor major 7th as well, except we're going to use a different extension. We're going to use the 6 minor 7 flat 5 on that one. So again, it starts off with the B minor 7 flat 5, D minor 6, E7, G sharp diminished 7, A minor major 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, and then we're going to have that A minor triad broken arpeggio line. So one more time. Exercise 3 is exactly the same as the others, except we're going to resolve to the A minor 7 this time. And the extension that we're going to use is the C major 7 on top of that. So we go B minor 7 flat 5, D minor 6, E7, G sharp diminished 7, A minor 7, C major 7, and then we have that little tag on the end. Okay, one more time. Exercise 4 starts to employ the 4 minor 7 to 5. And if you think of these patterns, we've got 6 different progressions, but it's really like 2 groups of 3. And it's because we have one group is employing the 2-5 to the 1, and we've got 3 versions of the 1, and then one group's employing the 4-5 to the 1 with the 3 variations of the 1. So it sounds like it's more than it is. You've got to chunk this information down to a simpler equation so you can digest this material more effectively. So if we start off with 4 minor 7, then we go to flat 6 major 7, 5 7, and then we go to 7 diminished 7, and then I have 1 minor major 7, and then flat 3 major 7 sharp 5, then I have my minor triad tag on the end of that. One more time, I go. Exercise 5 moves again from 4 minor 7 to the 5-7, and then it resolves to a 1 minor major, but with the 6 minor 7 flat 5 is the extension to that. So we go 4 minor to flat 6 major to 5-7 to 7 diminished 7, and then I've got 1 minor major to 6 minor 7 flat 5, and then I have that minor arpeggio at the end. So one more time. Exercise 6 is exactly the same as the others, except it ends on the 1 chord using the minor 7th. And then the extension to that will be the flat 3 major 7. So we've got this. So one more time. Is demonstrate one of these exercises, which is going to be the 2 minor 7 to the 5-7 to the 1 minor major with the flat 3 sharp 5 extension. That was the first one we did in this group of 6. But what I want you to do is to apply all 6 of these exercises over this backing track. I've harmonized the backing track slightly vaguely to where you can play all of these different exercises over that successfully. So get this together, and remember, practice slowly. Don't just jump in with the backing track and play straight away, but play away from the backing track, out of time, away from a metronome, and really get this into your hearing. Remember, getting it into your hearing gets it into your fingers. A lot of people think I've got to get it into my fingers to get it into my hearing. Wrong idea. Get it into your hearing. Once you get it to be able to hear this and the differences of this, then your fingers will follow. And it's a weird phenomenon, but that's the way that it works. So what I want you to do is check out my example of the backing track, then try to practice this on your own, build this up so you can do all the various 6 exercises over the backing track in time, and then come back and we'll do a debrief. Wraps up today's lesson, but before we go, let's take a look at what we've learned. In today's lesson, we've learned how the remaining diatonic chords built from all 3 of the minor scales work as substitution chords for the 2 minor 7, the 4 minor 7, the 5/7 flat 9, and the 1 minor chords. We've also learned how these substitution chords function and how to use them melodically in bass lines and solos to extend our ideas. We then took this and put this over a functional backing track where we learned how these substitutions work when transitioning from one key to the next. As always, practice smart, work hard, and play creatively. I'll catch up with you next week for Lesson 4. Take care.